Hello, in this video I'm going to demonstrate a method of essay outlining called the question-based essay outline. I will show you how to make that method work with our particular essay prompt for our poetry response essay, major essay number 2. Earlier in the module I showed you a thesis statement I wrote about Of Mere Being, a poem by Wallace Stevens, so I figured I'll work with that thesis statement, that poem, for my essay outline. Of course, you haven't necessarily read this poem yet, so I'm just going to read the poem for you before I show you the outline. Of mere being. The palm at the end of the mind, beyond the last thought, rises in the bronze decor. A gold-feathered bird sings in the palm without human meaning, without human feeling, a foreign song. You know, then, that it is not the reason that makes us happy or unhappy. The bird sings. Its feathers shine. The palm stands on the edge of space. The wind moves slowly in the branches. The bird's fire-fangled feathers dangle down. It's a pretty challenging poem. Okay. Here's what I've done so far on my question-based essay outline. The very first step you take for a question-based essay outline is really easy. You just copy-paste your essay prompt question from your assignment. So, starting with these questions. What did the poem awaken you? What do you and the poem have to say to each other about a common subject? Now, I told you I already wrote this thesis statement. It should look familiar to you. Direct answer. The thesis statement is a direct answer to the essay prompt. Of Mere Being helped me briefly achieve a focus beyond what I normally experience. I have discovered that I share with Stevens an interest in extreme or transcendent mental states. Okay. So what you do from there is you draft a number of questions that fit with the thesis, that have a relationship to the thesis, but take a smaller part, basically, of the thesis. So they have to be smaller than the thesis, but related. So, and sometimes, you draft a bunch of questions, more than you need. But once you have a bunch of questions, your answers to those questions may work as point topic sentences. That's the idea. You want to generate questions, the answers to which can work as point topic sentences. I decided to start here. Because, the truth is, the first thing about this poem that caught my attention was the phrase, the end of the mind. So, question, why is the phrase, the end of the mind, so interesting to me? And I did answer the question in this case. So this could work, I think, as a point topic sentence. As difficult as this poem is, and it is difficult, it's very metaphysical, I immediately responded to the phrase, end of the mind, because I could quickly pick up its intriguing ambiguity. It can refer to the moment before death, and it can refer to madness, and it can refer to some kind of transcendent state. So that was my first place to grasp onto the poem. You can see how this does relate back to the essay prompt question. What did the poem awaken you? I immediately grabbed onto this intriguing ambiguity, death, madness, transcendence, that for some reason got me. And for me, that phrase is it's clearly ambiguous, but it's not super difficult. So I got right on that. And you can see here there is an interpretation. There is an interpretation in my point topic sentence, and there is something personal. It is about my interpretation. So thus it does fit this essay question. Okay, second question I came up with was about the palm. End of the mind got me before the palm, but once I thought about it, I liked the poem part too. What works for me about the wordplay in poem? Um, I didn't actually write a topic sentence yet, but tell you what I like about it. The palm can be a palm tree. Like you picture a palm tree growing out of a mind. I picture a brain, but that's kind of grotesque and weird. And but it also could mean an outstretched palm, like the palm of your hand. And that was kind of intriguing to me because it's both like something you can imagine as an outgrowth, like palm fronds, and it's something you can imagine as, um, you know, outstretched hand wanting to receive, like a palm, a hand waiting to receive something. So I really like that. So I'm not going to write the topic sentence right now, but it's going to be something about that. And then the next thing I did was, why do I like the lines, it is not the reason that makes us happy or unhappy. I'm not going to write the topic sentence right now. But I'll share with you that the reason I like this part is that it is not the reason might seem to refer to this bird that the poet's been writing about. I mean, that's one possibility. The bird is not, whatever the bird is not the reason that makes us happy or unhappy. But it also could mean it's not the reason. It is not the reason. It's not like circumstance that makes us happy or unhappy. We're happy or unhappy, based on something that's like purely internal. Like sometimes your circumstances can be really, really terrible, and yet somehow you are happy, or even like ecstatically happy. Or, sometimes the reverse. Like sometimes your circumstances are quite satisfactory, or even by most people's standards positive, and yet you're really depressed. So I liked, again, we have like some intriguing ambiguity there. So I like that. Okay, and then I thought I might get into what is surprising to me about this author's interest in extreme or transcendent mental states. And here's where I decided I would get more into like biography and like my personal, attributes as well, or, my personal circumstances, occupation, etc. So as I said in the previous video, it's kind of interesting to me that this insurance executive was so intrigued by extreme or transcendent mental states. And similarly, I think, it's not necessarily an interest that people would expect a mild-mannered community college professor to have either, and yet I kind of do. So yeah, that paragraph I think would be where I kind of talk about his occupation, maybe his social class, I don't know, and my occupation and something like that. So that's how I would come at this one, but it also would make sense for many of you. You're going to put the personal material, like who you are, where you're coming from, might go in the intro, or it might go in the first body paragraph. There's not like one place where that would go. But even though, the biographical details about me and the author, in this case, come in like the last body paragraph, note that all of the topic sentences do have to do with me, my interpretation. Note, too, that I'm not comprehensively interpreting everything to do with the poem. The sort of stylistic feature that I'm most interested in is the ambiguity. That can mean wordplay, it can mean other kinds of ambiguity. That's what I go after. But I don't interpret every line of the poem. And I didn't write all my topic sentences for you here. But I hope you can see how you can use questions that fit the big essay question, take on like smaller parts of it, in order to generate point topic sentences that really do interpret something from the poem. You remember, you don't want your point topic sentences merely to describe or summarize. That should not be what you're doing in the opening line of your body paragraphs. All right, I hope this was helpful.